Hi everyone and welcome. It's Lavender Sky Panther with you on Saturday, August 17th, 2024 with another fun little card reading today. I actually set this up yesterday on a Friday. I had those energies going and then something kind of got me derailed, not in a bad way, but just like came back to start and jump into it and it just didn't feel right. So you got to listen to these things. I left the table set up, came back, and sometimes when I do this and I come back on a different day, I'm like, okay, well, different day, different energies. And sometimes I'll just take the whole thing down and start fresh and setting up again. But you know what? This time I came to it and I'm like, no, this feels right and harmonious. There's something in here, that we should, go through the whole thing. Now, I always ask, what's in this for the best and highest good for us all, and whatever messages and good, loving, beautiful spirit that want to come through that ideally are uplifting or just messages that otherwise are meant to come through, or maybe there's just something in here that inspires you in some way, something that just kind of clicks, and that's all this is for, and done in a fun, lighthearted spirit. All right, so that being said, we're going to get into this, and I'm really tempted. The two cards in the middle, the purple ones, which, by the way, there just seems to be a really strong message of purple. So if that vibration or color means something to you, or if you're feeling it too, then this is a good vibe, and reading will be a good vibe and reading for you most likely. So this is not going to be a selective pile or group today. This is just going to be one overall message for the collective. And again, hopefully there's something in here that works for you or is a message that is great for you to hear for right now. Back to the purple. So the spread as it unfolded, I want to make sure that I read from a couple of books today. Normally I don't, and I try not to read from the books unless I'm really feeling it. But now this reading might involve more of the books. We'll see. But for no matter what, I want to get to the Language of Flowers Oracle book and read from there, and the Australian Wildflower reading cards. And those, because they have a lot of nice meanings in there, and I'm not familiar with some of the flowers that come up. So back to this, the purple cards are the very last cards I put on the top, just to kind of cap things off and give us the overall energies or the overall statement or something, perhaps just kind of to put the period on the end of the sentence, so to speak, for the reading, or to be the, again, overall kind of guiding message of it all. So I just want to say that I was going for just one card from this Oracle of Hidden Worlds deck. That's the purple. And it's the card that came out on the left, but two came out at the same time. So I am going to read them both straight from the book. Just a little like heads up. I think they could just be the whole two for the entire reading. I feel very strongly about that. So I'm going to read them straight up, and then we'll just kind of touch on some of the other cards. But I really want the purple to take the predominant focus because it really stepped up like that today, and I don't normally have that happen, to the point where even the card said, I'm the master revealer, so meaning revealing the master message of the overall reading. And I've never had a word like that come in my head. So let's get to it. Let's go see what the master revealer on the left has to say. Also, I was guided to put this interesting little piece of charoite, I think is how you call it. It has a number 2 because it was $2 at a gem and mineral show. I went to a local one a few years ago. It's really beautiful. It has a very nice feel to it. It's very smooth. It's like a slice, with a little bit of the raw, texture on the back, and the top is kind of polished, but it's a matte finish. Anyway, that may mean something too if you want to look up the properties and healing properties of charoite. All right, otherwise, let's get to the so-called master revealer and see what it wants to say. I'm going to be holding this camera in my hand, so pardon if things get a little shaky or moving around as I read. I'm going to read the book off camera because it comes in and out of focus if I try to show you on camera. So bear with me for some of these little things, and here we go. This one is called number 7, the Tree of Illumination, Truth, Revelations, Understanding. There are within this world certain trees which have qualities that are unique and magical. All trees have a little of this magic, but in some the power accumulates and rests and rises until the tree becomes a part of a sacred place, in which great healing, revelations, understanding, and moments of insight can take place. They have been many among the great divine ones of the world, Odin and Yggdrasil, Buddha, and the tree, and this tree is one such of those. You are now invited to step into the energies of this tree and receive the wisdom it wishes to offer you. In your own world, make the time to connect with all trees, But in this moment, gazing upon this card, know that there dwells within this tree a great spirit who wishes now to share with you the potent magic of the realms, somewhat called fairy. This shining one now invites you in. As you enter and lay down beneath the branches, light will fall upon you and nurture you and become a part of you so that you can know the truth of any circumstance that has troubled you. Take this worry to the tree of illumination, and when you still yourself and listen and go to the trees, you will return with all you seek to know. Illumination. It is within the branches of the trees that knowledge and wisdom will be found. Do not ask yourself anymore, ask the trees, and the answer will be yours. All right, so that's a message. Again, the card, to me, wanted to be called the Master Revealer, as far as whatever that might mean to you as well, for the overarching or overall energies, of the reading. Now, they ask you to look in on this specific card, and you see a face at the top, a spirit, fairy spirit, presumably tree spirit, great tree spirit. But I say more just to go out around you and find a tree that feels good, sit down below it, and just sit in stillness, telepathically speak with it, ask it any questions, or just say, hey tree, anything you want to reveal or talk to me, and see what comes through. But sit in silence. If you haven't done this before, it may take a little practice. But if you get still enough, quiet your mind, and just listen in with the intent of hearing a message, you will hear something imperceptibly, kind of almost imperceptibly come back to you. You'll start to hear words and things. Very interesting process. I still think, yes, all of the wisdom is in us and our connection to divine source. And the tree is just another part of us all. We are the tree is us. We're all connected in that whole cycle, circle, whatever you want to call it, of life. We're all one. And so when you have that understanding and you connect with the tree, you could even look at the tree and just say, oh, that's the me that would have been a tree. I'm the me now that just decided to express in this form, because all of us have a divine energy, a divine spark within us. So that's just, I'll leave it right there. Anyway, tree of illumination, truth, revelations, and understanding. And to the fact that the card wanted to be called Master Revealer, I see why we got the name or message revelations in there. So may you find some good ones. All right, so now we're going to go to the second card that jumped out. Again, I was looking just for one card to be like the cap off or the period at the end of the sentence for this overall reading, but two jumped out, so we will read both. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to leave the other one turned over while I have this one turned over now, just so it's easier, less confusing to see. And we'll take a good look at this card, and I'll be quiet for a second. I want to see if any messages come to you just as I am quiet, and you tap into looking at the card. Okay, it's number 35 or number 8, called The Pathway. Direction, purpose, change, to see if anything was evoked in you. Looking at the scene, and I'm going to go ahead and read straight from the book once again. I'll try to stay more steady and level on the image. I know I didn't do that last time. Hang on. My bookmark just jumped out of the book. Give me a moment. Okay, here we go. Let me try to get this a little more on the card. Okay. The pathway, direction, purpose, change. You know where you must go. You know what must be done. This is but a moment of hesitation, of integration of all that has led you to this place. The road ahead of you is distinct and clear to those of hidden worlds, but you pause before continuing, as human eyes cannot always see the path that must be taken for the soul to continue on its journey. Whatever you do at this stage, you must know you are on the path. If you stay still and refuse to move, you are still on the path. If you run, turn back, and hide for a time, you are still on that path. You will not make a mistake, dear one. You cannot. Your soul knows what it's doing, and all you must do is choose the direction which will lead to the most self-love for you. It is no fantasy or dream. It is not foolish or selfish, as the human world calls it, to go into the direction that will lead to the fullest expression of your true self. Trust at this time, because although the path may be obscure to you, you have crossed a bridge and you are facing in the right direction. Keep going, dear one. Keep going. We will guide your every step. We will place your feet on the unseen pathway, and you will climb to the place where you can truly see in all directions. And that, beloved, is the place of wisdom, which is your destiny. Okay, the illumination message is, My every step leads me in the direction of my soul's true calling. So I think that message is powerful and self-explanatory enough that I am not going to go any further with it. So what beautiful cards to be kind of like the overall energies of this reading, or stand alone for this whole reading. So I'm going to move these out of the way for now as we get into the other cards. All right, so again, looking at the overall spread, just showing you kind of where we're going to end up eventually. I started off with the 4 cards in the center with the flowers. And again, I'm anxious to read, not anxious, but in a good way, some of the messages of these cards. So let's start with the center 2, because I pulled those first, and then we'll go to the 2 outer ones. And again, this may end up being a straight up read. We'll see. It's kind of the mood I'm in today. Is like less on the interpretation side, more on the reading, for whatever reason. All right, so again, pardon if the camera's a little all over the place. The bottle brush. Let's see if I can read this. The Callistemon linearis, cleansing is the message, cleansing. Oh, and it's this card over here. Okay. Many types of bottle brush are found throughout Australia and have very similar energy. This one, linearis, is native to the coast and ranges of New South Wales and in pockets of ranges of Queensland. It is an erect shrub growing up to 4 meters, which flowers in spring and the early... Oh, sorry, I think they have a typo. With flowers in spring and the early summer months. Bottle brush flowers are dark red to crimson with 5 tiny lobes and masses of protruding long stamens up to 25 millimeters long. It is these arranged on cylindrical spikes 5 to 10 centimeters long, which gives the plant its name. Bottle brush energy is cleansing and balancing. Its appearance means a time of clearing away what no longer serves you. If it is not happening organically, then it is time for you to make it happen, as it will most definitely improve any situation at present. Bottle brush can indicate pregnancy, issues surrounding pregnancy, and also any entity that you are personally incubating and growing. I'm not sure where they're going with that. The challenges of bottle brush are an inability to move on, limitations in growth, and difficult transitions. As a healer, bottle brush is wonderful as a negative energy cleanser and clearer. It supports during times of emotional upheaval, bringing calmness and comfort and an ability to cope. It is recommended for life transitions. Okay, that is straight up from the book. And I'll just say on a personal note, I grew up with one in the yard, and they always fascinated me because they seem so foreign. There's nothing like it around, and the way they do just kind of hang off the branches, they're really beautiful. And so anyway, if you're not familiar with that, I recommend that you go online. These cards are illustrated in a kind of woodcut print block style, really beautiful, or wood block print style. I think I scrambled that around. But go ahead and do a search and find, if you don't have any in your area, what they look like in real photographs and images. You know, very peculiar but beautiful tree with good energy to it. All right, now we're going to go to Crow's Foot. The message is rebirth. So we got cleansing and rebirth, which is actually a good order of things. Natural to cleanse, and then so that you can get to a rebirth with good and pure energies, not dragging any old baggage behind, so to speak. So this one I'm not familiar with. I've got to look it up online for the images like I just mentioned to do. So crow's foot, and let's just see if I can get the right Latin meaning of it. I think it says, because my eyes are getting a little fuzzy right now, I think it says Irradium crinitum, rebirth. A low-growing plant that reaches a height of 50 centimeters and is usually found in most inland areas of New South Wales, South Australia, parts of all other states, with the exception of Tasmania. So I'm trying to keep the camera a little more level. An indigenous name for the plant is Malu Munpunpa. Munpunpa. Its flowers are blue with a wider yellow vein pattern and are 5 to 17 millimeters wide. The 5 petals are wide and open, and the plant flowers most of the year. The tuber of the plant and the seeds are a food source to Indigenous Australians when other foods are scarce. Crow's foot is associated with the cycle of life and indicates an ending, a change, a letting go. For things to begin, some things must end, and so it is at this moment. Holding on to something is not in the best interest of all those concerned, not the least yourself. Crow's foot does show a new era is beginning for those who have been in the shadows. Acceptance of change is strongly shown as a key to coping and finding strength. Old negative habits are being shown up, and you are reminded to let go and move on. The challenge of crow's foot is stagnation and resistance to change. As a healer, crow's foot supports those coping with life transitions and changes. Okay, there's some beautiful, powerful messages in here, especially regarding that, it's indicating an ending, a change, a letting go. I'm going to read it one more time. There was one thing that was really important, I think. Holding on to something is not in the best interest of all those concerned, not the least yourself. So I'll relate a tiny bit personally. I'll keep it generic because I don't want to infringe on anybody. I don't want to name any people. But just, as an example, everyone has some kinds of family issues, I think, whether they're minor or big. But just, I'm being called to let certain people go, so to speak, or I couldn't, and so Divine stepped in and let them go for me, so to speak. And I really like what they mentioned in the book, because most of us anyway, I believe, we're so focused on ourselves. Of course, we're experiencing the world from our point of view. We are the center of our universe, so to speak. The sun does revolve around us, so to speak. The other sun, we've got the inner sun and spark, God's spark. But because we are the creators of our world, what we imagine and what we do and what we think, do start to create things in our world. And that's okay. That's good. I think there's a huge difference between being self-centered, centered in the self, where we're supposed to be within our core and reside with our God spark and create things, versus selfish, which is kind of acting on the outside and looking at things in a more material view. So you could equate self-centered or centered in the self with kind of the 5D spiritual path and expression versus 3D, which is a more material, tactical, where you're more concerned with things, like where are my toys? I don't want to give up my toys type of thing, or share. So anyway, that's just my certain point of view on that. But I really love the way this book, the way the description is talking about, since things are coming from our point of view so much, I like the way they're pointing it out, that others are involved. So, the letting go might not be just like we may not want to, because it might not feel good, but not only may we not be seeing that it's going to be best for us, but also for those involved. I've just noticed, maybe you have too, if you're going through a great awakening, we do carry a really bright light. And some people in our sphere who we've always known and loved might not be able to handle the brand or the type of light that we're bringing, especially as we're quote unquote upgrading. The more that we're getting the cosmic light coming through via solar flares, CMEs, geomagnetic activity, the Schumann resonance is changing, whatever you want to call it. These energies are powerful, and they also flow through us and magnify and amplify through us. So, we may have always been around certain family members or friends, and all of a sudden we find that there's like people needing to separate. And in some cases, it's just because, and not to be cocky about this or anything, it's just stating it simply, there's different frequencies happening. So there's a little bit of a separation. And it doesn't mean that one frequency is better than the other. They're just can be very different. So there's going to be a little bit of a separation happening. And for some people, if you're carrying a lot of light and it's getting amplified and you walk into a room, you're going to have people that either love that and want to bask in the sun of your vibe, or you're going to have other people, even if you've known them forever, that suddenly start to feel uneasy because they physically cannot handle that level of energy in their biofield, in their aura, so in their energetic field. And so maybe just keep that in mind if you haven't quite, observed that happening. It just happens all of a sudden maybe, and you might be perplexed what's going on. That's what's happening, or could be happening. So, and if you've already experienced it, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, I had one day where I just walked in like business as usual to go mail a package at a post office, and all of a sudden this girl started freaking out on me, and she got all flustered, and I just approached friendly as I always do, and with anybody. And then I realized later her inner demons, some people do have demonic or more evil-leaning, dark-leaning entities actually attached to them or within them, and that is what responded. So my inner light was triggering the hell out of her, quite literally. And I, was kind of like scratching my head after the whole experience, like, what the heck just happened? And then I was reminded, it's a spiritual war, so things are starting to ramp up and amp up. So It's getting interesting. I'll just put it that way, right? All right, so anyway, let's move on. Let's go to the left. We have love is number 27 or 9. It's the red carnation. And again, beautiful deck. This one's coming from the Language of Flowers Oracle. Give me a moment to get to the right page there. Here we go. As I fumble around a bit, I'll try to keep the camera steady. If not, bear with me. Okay, let's see. There's a lot of different parts to this. The way this card deck, I'll actually show you the cover if I can. Yeah, Language of Flowers Oracle, and I'll put the different decks in the description area below. This one breaks things down into the message, the meanings, the challenges, the botanical profile, gardening tips, and also a place. It tells you it's another one of those beautiful kind of wood. What do I want to call it? Woodcut block prints. And actually on this one, I have it a little bit covered. I can't move it right now, but there's an aqueduct at the top, and then the carnation. So I am going to read the little place category on this one. And look how we've got a beautiful pairing of the reds, and with love and the bottle brush, a lot of love energy there. Okay. So I'll start off with the meanings, and I'll see. I don't think I'll read the gardening tips and all that, but we will, we'll see how far I get with this. All right, here we go. Love, red carnation. I'm not going to read the Latin just because the text the font size is a little too small. All right, meanings. Abundance and a great step forward in obtaining what you desire, as well as the fulfillment of goals or moving towards them. Complete, unconditional, and unwavering love, along with dedication to something with all your emotions are indicated. A reason to celebrate, an announcement. A progression may be near as well. If you are looking for an answer, it is yes. Follow your heart. Okay, the challenges of this card, communicated in this card, are misunderstandings and unbalanced relationships that have a romantic base or element could be central at present. Be wary of affairs, romantic deception, emotional control, and abuse of power, addictions and materialism, as well as giving in to temptation, jealousy, and worry surrounding separation and indecisions are all energies that red carnation can bring to the fore. Okay, and then I'll just go over the place. It's Pont de les Ferrers, if I said that right, in Spain. Believed to have been built during the time of Augustus, this classical Roman aqueduct is also known as the Puente del Diablo, the Devil's Bridge. Legend has it, as it does for other similarly named structures, that it was built by the devil in an effort, page turn, in an effort to win the soul of a very beautiful lady. Originally, this pink stone aqueduct was 25 kilometers in length, but it is now 249 meters in length and 27 meters high. Situated 3 kilometers outside of the capital, Tarragona. In its glory days, it delivered water to over 200,000 people. Okay, so we've got a little bit of flower and water imagery going on. And as it's said over and over again, water can represent emotions. And so we've got that going on with the emotion of love, right? All right, so let's move on to protection. 32, number 5, the daisy. And then we'll see what wants to be tied in together later. I'm just going to read these all standalone for now. And I guess once again, my placeholder got kicked out. Give me a minute. Guess there's a reason for that today. Slowing me down. Maybe that's another message. I don't know about you, but I've been slowed down like nobody's business, like to an exaggerated degree, like the dripping of molasses, if it even drips, the past several months. All right, 32 protection. 32 can also be number 5. I'll just zoom in on this one. We've got a little bit of Glastonbury imagery going on in England. The tower on the hill, if you want to make it more generic. And I love this wood carving, this wood block carving, because, look how the sky, the tool marks create like, the movement of the sky and the horizon in the back. And very prettily done, very nicely done. Okay, so let's see what this has to bring us message-wise. Okay, meanings. Listen to your thoughts and be honest in your feelings and understandings about them. Although a few challenges may be forthcoming, be assured this is a passing phase and you can survive as protection is granted. And it is time to trust in order to stay on course. Playfulness and indications of working or being with children, and perhaps elements connected with your childhood, may be re-entering your life in some way. Okay, the challenges to this card are mood swings, vulnerability, and feelings of being overwhelmed may be present, and insecurities may cause concern. Failure to just enjoy the moment, as it will cause you to miss a wonderful opportunity. Nervousness or shyness may be inhibiting connection with something you would enjoy or benefit from. Okay, I'll read the place. Glastonbury, England. Nestled in beautiful Somerset is the tiny town of Glastonbury. It has been inhabited since Neolithic times, and within it are important ancient buildings, including Glastonbury Abbey, and sites of great cultural and historical significance. It is also the center of myth and legends surrounding Joseph of Arimathea, King Arthur, Avalon, and the Holy Grail. Some Arthurian literature connects Glastonbury directly as the place of the legendary island of Avalon. All right, and I'm sure many of you out there know a lot about the lore of King Arthur and Glastonbury. I do not, however, so this might be an invitation to go look all of that up further if you wish. Okay, so just to kind of look at all the four central cards, after looking at those purple Master Revealer cards, yeah, we have Love, Cleansing, Rebirth, and Daisy. And so for me, the love part is the love of self, overwhelmingly so, to take care of yourself, make good choices for your optimal health and well-being, including maybe getting in touch more with plants and flowers, meaning herbal teas or doing some green juices, and just really get into the naturals, even in terms of any kind of topical ointments or solutions or salves for healing. And to remember to reach for those first before just, defaulting from the brainwashing and going to allopathic or the big pharma type medicines. Do as you wish, but I'm just, for me, my point of view, it's time, if we are not doing that already, to start off with the naturals. And so much can be done even before you get to the naturals is mind over matter and connecting in and really connecting in with the divine or your angelic team or whoever it is you look to, and just saying, kindly help, let's heal this. I believe it's healed. And just get into that space of confidence that you yourself have the power within you without even asking, for help, actually, in the divine way. You just know it, that you are a healer naturally. Your body knows what it's doing. If you leave your body alone, it knows how to heal itself more often than not. Of course, unless there's some kind of trauma externally, like a broken limb or something, but then you can assist that out. But anyway, for me, it's first step, try to do mind over matter. If it's something a little more serious, maybe, get some naturals help, even less serious, but get naturals help and assistance. And then beyond that, something really radically endangering, then go to some of the other kind of more Western methods. And of course, there's a time and place for all of it, a little balance of all of it, right? Okay, so let's see where we want to go next. I think we'll head down. I'll just do this in the order that I pull cards. So after our nice, beautiful plants row, we have the animals wanted to come out. And we have quite a few. So I have the core four below the plants. Actually, what was really fun was that we had crow's foot, rebirth. And coincidentally, in quotes, we had number 5, the bat spirit come out below it, which is also a rebirth. And it says, a rebirth is assured. So again, vote you, pick you first, not in a selfish way, but a self-centered, meaning centered and grounded in the self way. And, to have like a rebirth. I think a lot of that's going on for us right now. Is a lot of different energies are coming on the planet. Our body is being asked to kind of reorganize itself in a way, or resituate itself, like this bat is, upside down. And this isn't like a hanged man card in the tarot. I mean, the bat, that's just one of its natural positions, right? It doesn't feel it's upside down. It's just like, hey, I can see you. It really doesn't even see you, right? It can see predominantly with the echolocation, I think. Maybe it has good eyesight too. No, they say blind as a bat, right? So it's relying on echolocation. So anyway, it doesn't really, care about the orientation because sound waves can move in any direction. It doesn't matter, right? So it feels just as comfortable in that position. So I think a lot of us were getting into a place where we're starting maybe to feel topsy-turvy in our life. It seems like a lot's changing maybe within our family and friends structure or grouping and the overall global, society. We're having a lot of radical changes going on. And because this is a time of a great shift, and with that is going to demand, not in a mean way, but just it will call for or demand a shift in our lives, and we are going to have to, be asked to go through a bit of a rebirth. Now, it may be a radical one, like the caterpillar going into the chrysalis, turning to mush, and we come out a butterfly, or it might be more subtle than that, just depending on where you are in the path. But nonetheless, it is asking for a rebirth of sorts. And even if it's just a matter of cyclical, like going from, winter to spring, there's always a rebirth, no matter what. Anyway, let's get off of that topic, and I'll move over to the flamingo spirit. And actually, I did want to read this card. Out of all of the animal ones, I think I'm only going to read the flamingo spirit for now. And that's a number 26 or an 8. We've got this beautiful flamingo on an aqua blue background. And it says, Flamingo spirit, embrace the in-between. Okay, so let's have a little read on this one from the book. If I can find it. Here we go. No, hold on 1 second. Give me one moment. I'm going to zoom out here a little bit and find the book. If I can. If not, we're not going to read from it. Hold on. Unusual day. Here it is, hiding. Well, we started off with hidden messages from the hidden oracle, so I guess it's fitting. All right, let's get to our flamingo. And once again, the bookmark left me. So give me a moment. It's really pretty funny at this point. So maybe there's a message in there somewhere. Like, I guess it could be